With our basic class, if we now go to the dist folder and we inspect the app.js file, we see what is generated in JavaScript. And there you see we have essentially the same code. Two important differences are that the name field, which we have here, does not exist like this here in the class. This would actually be supported in modern JavaScript, but it depends on the version of JavaScript you're building for. So in ES6 alone, it's not supported actually. And of course, what's also missing is the type assignment. We do have our constructor logic though, and indeed, this is how you do add properties to the to-be-created objects in vanilla JavaScript when not using the latest version of JavaScript where this field syntax would also be supported. So this is what I have in JavaScript. Now it gets interesting, however, if we go to the tsconfig.json file and we switch the target from ES5 to ES6 and comment out lib here so that the correct and recommended libraries are added by TypeScript automatically. If you now save this config file and you go back to app.js, you see something totally different. And that's pretty interesting what we see here. What do we have here? Well, what we in the end have here is a so-called constructor function. A constructor function is something which is built into JavaScript, which has basically been there forever, you could say. And this is vanilla, non-modern JavaScript's way of creating object blueprints. It's a function which is called with the help of the new keyword, and then all of a sudden, magically, this function, even though it has no return statement inside of it, does return something, as you see when we call it here. It returns an object, a new object which will have a name property. So this concept is not new. It's not introduced by modern JavaScript or by TypeScript. The idea of having blueprints for objects has been around in JavaScript for a very long time. In the past, however, we had to use constructor functions, and since this could be a bit unintuitive, especially to developers who might have worked with different programming languages, modern JavaScript introduced the idea of classes, of this cleaner syntax, and TypeScript supports this as well. And because of TypeScript's powerful compilation, you can choose whether you want to compile to the older style, which of course works in more browsers, or into this more modern ES6 style, which we saw before, which looks very much like this here. The key takeaway is that we have this feature built into JavaScript and supported by TypeScript that we can define object blueprints.